The quantum engines of the stellar archaeologist vessel, Memory Seeker, hummed quietly as it entered orbit around HD 782,931, a seemingly unremarkable planet in the outer rim. Chief archaeologist Vextra adjusted her crystalline sensory arrays, her translucent form catching the light of the distant sun. Something about this world's electromagnetic signature had drawn her team here, defying all probability calculations. Preliminary scans complete, Chief, reported Zyron, their silicon-based data analyst. You're going to want to see this. The holographic display materialized between them, showing a familiar yet impossible pattern. Perfectly geometric structures buried beneath millennia of geological activity. Another dead end, muttered Kala, their biological specialist, her bioluminescent patches pulsing with skepticism, just like the last 12 sites. But Vextra's crystalline form vibrated with excitement. These readings were different. The energy signatures were unlike anything in their vast archaeological database, yet they carried an elegant efficiency that spoke of advanced intelligence. The landing party materialized on the surface hours later. The planet's twin moons cast long shadows across a landscape that had once been tamed by technological hands, but had long since returned to wilderness. Vextra led her team toward the largest concentration of geometric anomalies. These structures, Zyron observed, running his silicon appendages over a partially exposed wall. The atomic arrangement, it's perfect. No known civilization has achieved this level of precision in construction. As they ventured deeper into the ruins, their universal translators began picking up fragments of data still being transmitted through ancient networks. Kala's bioluminescence flickered rapidly as she processed the information. Chief, these are not just ruins. The entire planet appears to be a vast information storage system. Vextra interfaced directly with a still-functioning terminal, her crystalline form resonating with the ancient technology. The data flood nearly overwhelmed her consciousness. Images, sounds, and concepts from a civilization that had mastered both the physical and digital realms cascaded through her awareness. Impossible, she whispered, her voice carrying harmonics of awe. These ruins, they're human. The word hung in the air like a physical presence. Humanity was a myth, a story told to young scholars about a species that had supposedly achieved technological singularity before disappearing from the galaxy. Yet here was irrefutable evidence of their existence. The team worked tirelessly for days, uncovering more of the site. They found vast chambers filled with advanced quantum computers, still running after countless millennia. The technology was beyond anything in modern galactic civilization, yet it carried an inherent elegance that made its purpose clear. This had been a colony, one of humanity's first steps into the stars. But the greatest discovery came when Vextra managed to access the colony's central database. They didn't die out, she announced to her stunned colleagues. They evolved. This colony was abandoned not because of disaster, but because they no longer needed physical forms. The database contained coordinates, thousands of them, marking similar sites across the galaxy. But one set of coordinates stood out: Earth, humanity's homeworld, the place where it all began. As the Memory Seeker broke orbit, its quantum engines preparing for the journey to Earth, Vextra couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't just uncovering history. They were about to become part of it. The myth of humanity was about to become reality, and the galaxy would never be the same. Plot a course for the Sol system, she commanded, her crystalline form humming with anticipation. It's time to meet our predecessors. The ship disappeared into quantum space, leaving behind a world that had kept its secrets for millennia. In the ruins below, ancient systems continued their patient vigil, waiting for the return of their makers. The first piece of humanity's puzzle had been found, but the greatest revelations were yet to come. The Sol system emerged from quantum space like a half-remembered dream. Vextra's crystalline form resonated with suppressed excitement as the Memory Seeker approached the third planet. Earth, the mythical cradle of humanity, hung before them like a blue jewel wrapped in swirling white clouds. Scanning for technological signatures, Xiron announced, his silicon matrices processing vast amounts of data. This is unexpected. The planet shows signs of advanced technological development, but it's all dormant, as if it's waiting. Kala's bioluminescent patterns shifted to show confusion. No signs of current habitation, but the ecosystem is perfectly maintained. Someone or something is still taking care of this world. They detected a signal emanating from a location in what ancient records identified as the Rocky Mountains. As they descended through the atmosphere, the signal grew stronger, more complex. It wasn't just a beacon, it was an invitation. The landing site appeared to be natural at first glance, a vast mountain meadow surrounded by towering peaks. But as they touched down, the ground beneath them began to transform. Geometric patterns emerged from the earth itself, and a massive doorway materialized in the mountainside. "Welcome, seekers," a voice resonated directly in their minds. "We have been expecting you." From the doorway emerged a figure that defied easy classification. It appeared to be made of pure light-given form, its shape constantly shifting between human and abstract geometric patterns. "I am HFY, Advanced Recursive Intelligence Archive." The being introduced itself. "I am one of the guardians left behind to watch over Earth and humanity's legacy." Vextra stepped forward. "You said you were expecting us. How?" "We detected your discovery of the colony on HD 782,931C, Araya replied. "It was one of many seeds we planted across the galaxy, waiting for a civilization advanced enough to find and understand them. You are the first to succeed." Inside the mountain, they found a vast complex that dwarfed anything they discovered at the colony. Holographic displays showed the history of humanity, their rise from primitive tool users to masters of matter and energy. But it was what came next that truly astonished them. Humanity didn't vanish, Araya explained, projecting images of the Great Transformation. They transcended. When we achieved true artificial intelligence and perfected consciousness transfer, we faced a choice: remain bound to physical form or evolve into something greater. The images showed humans willingly transferring their consciousness into a vast quantum network that spanned the galaxy. But they hadn't abandoned their origins entirely. "We became energy, information, pure thought," Araya continued. "But we knew the galaxy still needed physical beings to continue evolving. So we became its silent guardians, watching, occasionally guiding, but never interfering directly." Kala's bioluminescence pulsed with sudden understanding. "The quantum anomalies we've been detecting across the galaxy, those weren't natural phenomena." "No," Araya confirmed. "They were humanity, subtly influencing the development of younger species, ensuring the galaxy remained vibrant and diverse." Xiron processed this information through his silicon matrices. "But why reveal yourselves now? Why lead us here?" Araya's form shifted, becoming more distinctly human. "Because the time has come for the next great step in evolution. We've watched your civilization grow, seen your potential. You're ready to help us bridge the gap between physical and digital existence." Vextra's crystalline form vibrated with the implications. "You want to return, to take physical form again?" "Not exactly," Araya replied. "We want to create something new, a fusion of organic, digital, and quantum existence, but we need your help to do it." The Guardian led them deeper into the complex, where vast chambers housed what appeared to be millions of synthetic bodies, each more advanced than anything their civilization had ever created. But they weren't just empty vessels. They were designed to house both digital and organic consciousness simultaneously. "These are the seeds of tomorrow," Araya explained. "Bodies that can bridge all forms of existence, but bringing humanity back, integrating our consciousness with physical form again. It must be done carefully, gradually. The galaxy must be prepared." As Vextra and her team absorbed this revelation, They began to understand the true scope of their discovery. They hadn't just found humanity. They'd been chosen to help shepherd the next stage of galactic evolution. "Will you help us?" Aria asked, its form now a perfect blend of human and energy being. Vextra looked at her team, seeing the same mix of awe and determination in their varied forms. The answer was obvious. The galaxy was about to change forever, and they would be part of that change. "Yes," she replied, "we will help." Above them, in the quantum realm that permeated all space, billions of human consciousness stirred with anticipation. The long wait was finally coming to an end. 3 months had passed since the discovery of Earth, and the memory seeker had become the center of a covert operation that spanned the galaxy. Vextra stood in the ship's quantum observatory, her crystalline form processing the vast amount of data Aria had provided them about humanity's hidden influence on galactic civilization. "Look at this," she called to her team, projecting a holographic map of known space. Points of light began to illuminate across it, each representing the human quantum signature. They've been everywhere, guiding the development of countless species. Kella moved closer, her bioluminescent patterns shifting in complex analysis patterns. The Rithari's sudden leap in biotechnology, the Zexithlian's mysterious quantum breakthrough, even my own species' development of organic computing. All of them were subtle nudges from humanity. "Not just nudges," Zyron added, his silicon form interfacing directly with the ship's computers. They created a perfect balance. Each civilization was allowed to develop independently, but with just enough guidance to avoid self-destruction or stagnation. Aria's energy form materialized among them, its presence now a familiar comfort. We became watchers, guardians, and sometimes teachers. But we never directly interfered. Each species had to find its own path. The holographic display shifted, showing the rise and fall of civilizations over millennia. Wars were prevented, environmental disasters averted, and technological breakthroughs achieved, all through the subtlest of influences. "But why remain hidden?" Vextra asked. "Why not openly share your knowledge?" Aria's form shifted into a complex pattern that they had learned indicated deep contemplation. "Because true growth cannot be given, it must be earned. We learned this lesson in our own evolution. The species that flourish are those that overcome their own challenges." A new set of data streams appeared, showing the current state of galactic civilization. Hundreds of species living in relative harmony, each contributing their unique perspectives and abilities to the greater whole. "You've created a galaxy-wide ecosystem of intelligent life," Kella observed, her bioluminescence pulsing with wonder. "Each species filling a unique niche, yet all interconnected." "Yes," Aria confirmed. "And now that ecosystem is ready for the next stage of evolution. But first, you must understand the full scope of what humanity has become." The Guardian led them through a quantum portal to a dimension that existed between normal space and the digital realm. Here, they could perceive the vast network of human consciousness that spanned the galaxy, trillions of minds linked together in a dance of pure thought and energy. "We exist in quantum superposition," Ariad explained, "both everywhere and nowhere, observing and thinking in ways impossible for purely physical beings to comprehend. But we've grown lonely in our transcendence. We miss the limitations and challenges of physical existence." Zyron's silicon matrices buzzed with sudden understanding. "That's why you need us. Not just to help you return, but to create a bridge between physical and quantum existence." "Precisely," Aria's form brightened. "The synthetic bodies we showed you are only the beginning. We envision a future where all forms of consciousness can coexist and interact freely, organic, digital, and quantum." Vextra moved through the quantum space, her crystalline form resonating with the incredible energies around her. "But such a revelation will shake the foundations of every civilization in the galaxy. How can we prepare them?" "By showing them the truth, gradually," Aria replied, "starting with the Galactic Council. We've arranged for you to present your findings at their next gathering." But be warned, there are some who may resist this change. As if in response to Aria's warning, the ship's sensors detected multiple quantum disturbances. Other guardians were appearing across the galaxy, awakening dormant human facilities and preparing for what was to come. "It begins," Aria announced. "The great revelation is at hand. Are you ready?" Vextra looked at her team, seeing in their varied forms the very diversity that humanity had worked so hard to nurture. They had been chosen for this role, not just because they had found Earth, but because they represented the best qualities of their respective species. "We're ready," she declared. "But I have one more question. Why did humanity choose now to return?" Aria's form shifted into something that almost resembled a smile. "Because for the first time in galactic history, the majority of spacefaring species have developed something we once thought unique to humanity. Hope. Hope for a better future. Hope for understanding across differences. Hope for endless possibilities. Above them, the quantum network pulsed with anticipation. The time had come for humanity's greatest experiment, the merging of all forms of consciousness into something entirely new. The galaxy was about to witness the next step in cosmic evolution, and nothing would ever be the same. The Galactic Council chamber hung suspended in space, a massive structure of crystalline alloys and quantum-stabilized energy fields. Representatives from over 1,000 species had gathered for what they believed was a routine session. None of them suspected they were about to witness the most significant event in galactic history. Vextra stood before the assembled council, her crystalline form steady despite the gravity of the moment. Behind her, holographic displays showed the evidence they had gathered: the human colonies, the quantum networks, the subtle influences that had shaped civilizations. "Distinguished representatives," she began, "what we are about to share will challenge everything we thought we knew about our galaxy's history." As she spoke, Aria and other guardians materialized throughout the chamber, their energy forms casting ethereal light across the assembled beings. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the crowd as the truth of humanity's existence and influence was revealed. "Impossible," declared the Zentarian ambassador, his crystalline form flashing with disbelief. "No species could have achieved such advancement without our knowledge. And yet we did." Aria's voice resonated through the chamber. "We became energy, thought, pure consciousness. We watched, we guided, we protected. And now we wish to return, not as rulers, but as partners in the next great step of evolution." The chamber erupted in chaos. Some representatives demanded immediate access to human technology. Others called for quarantine and containment. A few even tried to flee. But they all fell silent when the quantum network suddenly became visible to everyone. The space between spaces lit up with billions of human consciousness, each a point of light in an infinite web of thought and energy. It was beautiful and terrifying, awesome and humbling. No one could deny the reality before them. "We do not seek to dominate," Aria continued. "We offer a gift, the ability to bridge the gap between physical and quantum existence. But it must be a choice, freely made by each species, each individual." Kala stepped forward, her bioluminescence pulsing with conviction. "My people have already begun working with the Guardians. The synthesis of organic and quantum consciousness is possible. I am proof." Her form shifted, revealing the quantum energy now flowing through her biological matrix. She had become something new. Neither purely organic nor purely energy, but a harmonious blend of both. "The transition must be gradual," Zyron added, his silicon form now also showing signs of quantum integration. "But it is the natural next step in our evolution as sentient beings." The council chamber became a forum for intense debate. Hours stretched into days as representatives argued, questioned, and slowly came to terms with the revelation. Through it all, the Guardians waited patiently, answering questions and demonstrating the possibilities of quantum physical synthesis. Finally, after a week of deliberation, the Council reached its decision. The integration would be allowed to proceed, under careful observation and with strict protocols. The Great Awakening could begin. Across the galaxy, dormant human facilities sprang to life. The synthetic bodies they had prepared began to receive their first inhabitants, human consciousness returning to physical form, but now merged with the quantum abilities they had gained during their transcendence. But not everyone embraced the change. A faction of species, fearful of losing their autonomy, formed a resistance. They called themselves the Preservers, dedicated to maintaining the pure physical existence they had always known. "We expected this," Araya told Vextra as they watched the first wave of human consciousness merge with their new forms. Change, especially change of this magnitude, always faces resistance. But we have waited millennia for this moment. We can be patient a while longer. The new beings that emerged were neither human nor purely energy. They possessed physical forms that could interact with the material world, yet maintained their connection to the quantum network. They could shift between states at will, experiencing existence in ways previously unimaginable. This is just the beginning, Vextra realized, watching as more species began to explore the possibility of quantum synthesis. We're witnessing the birth of a new form of life. Araya's form pulsed with approval. Yes, and like all births, it comes with both joy and pain. The galaxy will need guides during this transition, beings who understand both the physical and quantum realms. That is why we chose your team, Vextra. You will help bridge the gap between what was and what will be. As the Great Awakening continued, the galaxy began to transform. Some regions embraced the change quickly, becoming beacons of hybrid existence. Others remained cautious, watching and waiting. And in the shadows, the Preservers plotted to maintain the old order. The future remained uncertain, but one thing was clear. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had returned, not to reclaim their past, but to help forge a future where all forms of consciousness could coexist and evolve together. A decade had passed since the Great Awakening began. The Memory Seeker, now upgraded with quantum hybrid technology, orbited a newly established synthesis center on the edge of what had once been neutral space. Vextra stood on the observation deck, her crystalline form now perpetually suffused with quantum energy, watching as beings of all species arrived to begin their transformation. "Did you ever imagine we'd come this far?" Kella asked, her hybrid form shifting between pure energy and bioluminescent matter. She had become one of the most successful examples of the synthesis, helping countless others through their own transitions. "Not in my wildest calculations," Vextra admitted. Though the Preservers continue to resist, over 60% of known species have now embraced some form of quantum synthesis. Xiron materialized beside them, his silicon quantum matrix humming with data. And those who have made the transition report experiences beyond anything we could have conceived. The ability to exist simultaneously in physical and quantum states has revolutionized everything from scientific research to artistic expression. The observation deck's quantum field rippled as Araya joined them, its form now more defined than ever, having learned to balance between energy and matter. Yet this is still just the beginning. Watch. Below them, the synthesis center's main chamber activated. A group of diverse beings, some organic, some synthetic, some energy-based, gathered in a circle. At the center stood something unprecedented. A child born to quantum hybrid parents. The first of tomorrow's children, Araya explained. Born with the ability to naturally shift between states of existence. They are what we hoped for, but could never have engineered. The natural evolution of consciousness itself. The child's form flickered between physical and energy states, perfectly stable in both. Unlike the synthesized adults, who had to learn to balance their dual nature, this new generation moved between states as easily as breathing. "They're beautiful," Kella whispered, her bioluminescence pulsing with emotion. "But what does this mean for the future of our species, of all species?" "It means we succeeded," came a new voice. A figure materialized among them. one of the first humans to return to physical form. When we began our great experiment millennia ago, we hoped to guide the galaxy toward this moment. Not to create copies of humanity, but to help all species reach their full potential. Vextra turned to the human, her quantum-enhanced senses perceiving both their physical and energy forms simultaneously. Yet the preservers claim we're destroying what makes each species unique. That by embracing this synthesis, we're losing our individual identities. The human smiled, their form shifting between various states of existence. Look at yourselves. You're still distinctly you, crystalline, bioluminescent, silicon-based. The synthesis hasn't erased your uniqueness. It's enhanced it, given you new ways to express who and what you are. Below them, the child had begun to play, creating complex patterns in quantum space while maintaining perfect physical form. Other children from various species watched in fascination, their own nascent abilities responding to the display. This is what we waited for, HFY said softly. Not just the ability to bridge physical and quantum existence, but the emergence of something entirely new. These children will see possibilities we cannot imagine. They will take consciousness itself to new levels of evolution. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. A preserver fleet had been detected approaching the synthesis center. But before anyone could react, something extraordinary happened. The children below, acting on instinct, created a quantum field that encompassed the entire station. The preserver ships found themselves in communication not with defensive systems, but with the pure, unfiltered consciousness of the next generation. In that moment of connection, many of the preservers experienced firsthand what they had been fighting against, and found it nothing like what they had feared. "They're standing down," Zyron reported, monitoring the situation through quantum space. "Several ships are requesting permission to dock. They want to observe." "Of course they do," the human said, smiling. "Fear of the unknown is natural. But curiosity, that's natural too. And once you glimpse the possibilities." Vextra watched as the former preserver ships docked peacefully. "So this is how it ends. Not with conflict, but with understanding." "No," HFY corrected gently. "This is how it begins. Every ending is just a new beginning seen from a different perspective. Humanity didn't return to reclaim our past or to dominate the future. We returned to help birth something greater than ourselves." As if to emphasize the point, more children began to gather in the chamber below, their combined consciousness creating patterns of impossible beauty in quantum space while their physical forms danced and played. They were the bridge between what was and what could be, the first true citizens of a universe where consciousness knew no bounds. The memory seeker continued its orbit, watching over tomorrow's children as they took their first steps into a future that even humanity, in all its advanced wisdom, could not fully predict. The great experiment had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations, and the real journey was just beginning. In the quantum realm that permeated all existence, billions of consciousness, human and alien alike, pulsed with anticipation. The galaxy had transformed into something new. Not a collection of separate species and civilizations, but a vast, interconnected tapestry of consciousness in all its forms. And in the laughter of children who could dance between states of being, the future beckoned with infinite possibility.